I said, Merry Christmas, folks.
No, it's not Christmas. It just makes it, it's festive.
It's one of our new backdrops. No, this is all camp.
And this is not a spring chicken today. We brought this out especially because not, well, I don't know if you call it a festive mood, but today we're going to talk about something that's a very hot topic.
Uninvited guest.
And one of the reasons it's such a hot topic is because, of course, here in California, the governor's race with Meg Whitman from eBay and Governor, or former Governor, Jerry Brown.
Yeah.
Bringing up the case of illegal immigrants.
Yeah, and because that all of a sudden that the people that are hiring the illegals on the left think it's wrong for people on the right to hire illegals. Well, that's what the whole debate is about, that nobody should be hiring them. People on the left don't understand that every time they complain about someone on the right, they're making the cause for the people on the right. Two wrongs do not make a right, where the Democrats think that basically every wrong makes a right.
Okay, so let me ask you. So part of it is they made it a hot topic because, of course, it's the governor's race, right?
Yeah.
So they wanted to have a race. Like, she knowingly did something that she knew was wrong.
Well, the problem is that she knowingly fired the person as soon as the government told her that the woman she falsified documentation. We're going to try to explain this in the terms of being a lawyer. It is a violation of the lawyer's canon to knowingly put your client in jeopardy. Gloria Allred put her client in jeopardy by admitting that she falsified papers to get a Social Security card and other documents. Okay, the reason why people like Geraldo Rivera, once again, it's just a harmless crime. And anyway, anybody that comes into this country is better. If you come into this country illegally, you're better than people that came in legally.
It's still illegal.
Well, they don't care. If you ask them, do you understand the meaning of the term illegal? These people are not illegal aliens. They're undocumented workers. They're not illegal aliens. They are undocumented workers. They are not illegal aliens. They're illegal. If you come, there is a law. It is a misdemeanor. The trick is they turn the misdemeanor into a felony the instant they get themselves a Social Security card or a driver's license. You must have a birth certificate to get a driver's license under the National Security Act. You have to have a driver's license to get. You have to have a birth certificate to get anything. I hadn't even seen that birth certificate forever. To be able to fly an airplane, I had to get a passport to fly on an airplane, folks. But it is a felony to illegally get to falsify a birth certificate, to get a false driver's license, or to have a false Social Security card. Those are felonies. Those are deportation things, which means every undocumented alien that is working in this country, well, they're paying taxes. Well, they're not paying taxes. They don't pay Social Security taxes because they can't.
So the big issue here is what? The immigration, or that using it for the governor's race? Or putting your client's life in jeopardy?
They put in their client, basically, they forfeit their license to practice law. People like Geraldo Rivera, this is an innocent crime, and he will flat out tell you, Mr. Rivera will flat out tell you, these people are better than people that waited to come in line regularly because they want to be here more than those other people. Well,
wait, that doesn't make it better.
No. But he's insinuating that a criminal is better than an honest person. And basically, the guy want to challenge me. I'm old enough to be his father. Which hand should I tie behind my back to have the fight with Mr. Rivera? I'm left-handed, so I guess what I'll do is I'll do like I did in the movie once, put my back hand in my gun belt, and then we'll have a slugging match to see which one of us goes down. I weigh well over 200 pounds. Yeah, Mr. Rivera is not my weight. He's a kid, but he's not my weight, not my size. They probably, if he challenged me to a fight, I'll put it this way. I heard a guy last night said that if his father was to challenge Mr. Rivera would probably go running off wetting his pants. It's just the thing. Mr. Rivera is a lawyer. He knows that to support people that are breaking the law is a violation of his...
Is it a violation of his oath?
A violation of his oath is to support the laws. Well, I don't think that's a fair law because they're being... these people are only doing the work that other people won't do. Well, other people were doing that job before they came into the country illegally. They're taking jobs from black Americans. They're taking jobs from Asian Americans. They're taking jobs from high school kids, from people that were working in those jobs before they're taking.
Actually, I've actually heard that there are not as many here in Southern California because a lot of them have gone back to Mexico because there's not as many jobs.
Yeah, because the unemployment thing is driving the fact that they are being the first ones cut out. I find it amazing. Those jobs that no one would do are still being done even though they're leaving the country. They said, well, you know, the average white person won't do a farm job. Well, the average white person does farm jobs if the average white person has an idea how to do the job. And those days when they're down on with a little hole like this, those days have been replaced by machinery. A lot of machines are doing the job of the farm laborers now, folks. I mean, certainly what happens is you have people, which tend to be Democrats as a matter of fact, hiring a lot of the illegals to do the job so they don't have to hire machinery to do the job. Well, let's see, who's Tyson Farms supporting?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them are heavy supporters of the Democratic Party that illegally hire these people. And they say, well, the employer should be taken to task. Well, there's a law on the books of which our president will not enforce.
And that law is?
Basically, if you knowingly hire an illegal alien as a criminal, it is a felony, folks. And basically, that's what they're trying to say, that Meg Whitman created a felony. Well, you've got to understand how many illegal aliens are working for the state of California and the Justice Department, which Jerry Brown's in charge of.
Oh.
Yeah. How
and
many?
He knows it.
He knows it. And he doesn't care because they're innocent people that came here to fulfill the $30, $40 an hour jobs that nobody else would do.
Well, you know, because we had a supermarket growing up, right?
Yeah.
And so I used to cash checks for a lot of these immigrant workers. And I could tell you which ones were illegal or not.
Yeah.
I mean, because, okay, here's first of all, como se llama? If they can't tell you the name that's on the Social Security card or the check they give you, guess what?
Here's a real good one.
Okay.
Here's a real good one. No habla inglés.
If they give you 2 checks with 2 different names,
yeah.
there's a good,
yeah.
you have a good idea that they might not both be theirs.
Yeah, but we'll try it another way. My father died within the last couple of decades, folks. My father was still doing construction business. My father could go out and toss a rock and hit white people that would do the construction jobs. Today, if you toss a rock, you find nothing but Latinos because they basically will work less than the Caucasians will. It's not. I mean, you realize how many people my father could get at like $30 an hour to do the painting on a house?
Well, I will tell you, I grew up in the Central Valley. There's a lot. They would bust their rears.
Oh yeah.
Right, and do things that everybody, like my friends, were not going to do that stuff.
I know.
Right? They were doing things that other people didn't. The challenge is that they migrated into better paying jobs, taking jobs away from people that actually would do them.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
But they're, you know, all of their things are basically a false thing, that there are not people out there that will do the jobs that they come to the country to do. If the jobs are still getting done and they aren't here, it is logical to assume somebody's doing those jobs. They said, who is the hardest hit by the uninvited guest coming into this country? Black kids.
Really?
Their unemployment rate is like 23%. Because the jobs that they would take at McDonald's, the jobs they would take in the fast food industry, the jobs that they would take in the garment industry, the entry-level jobs they would take in department stores, they're all being filled by undocumented aliens.
Yeah, and I will tell you, not that all retail establishments that are like this, but other retail establishments knowingly do it so that they can get away with poor customer service, like giving you, remember all those things that we've done?
Okay, they will tell you that, it's the same line today when there's unemployment as there was. Well, it's hard to find good work. I mean, okay, my mother was corporate management, plus she ran stores in the fast food business. She would be told, when she'd get complaints of bad service, and she would go to a place and they would tell her, well, it's hard to get good help. And she said, no, it's not, and then she'd fire the manager. because that's the management's excuse for everything. It's hard to get good help. No, you can toss rocks and find people that'll work. It just, some people won't work because they know under the welfare system. I mean, I used to really thought we were funny things. Like they're talking nearly 50 years ago in the Lawrence Welk Show. They did an episode where the guy, they basically had a guy that was a member of their band would come out, and he was the most god-awful great dancer in existence. And Lawrence Welk said, I want to hire you for my show. And he said, well, how much do you pay? And he said, well, I can't afford to pay my chauffeur for that. And he said, well, what do you do for me? He said, I'm on welfare. Yeah, that was the joke. Nearly 50 years ago, that the people on welfare were making so much money, they couldn't take jobs. And they were serious. There are people on welfare in California that basically have drive Mercedes-Benz with chauffeurs and have multi-million-dollar homes in Brentwood.
Really?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting. But
because I think a lot of Americans are too proud that they probably could go on welfare, but don't.
Because they work for a living. I grew up in an era that I grew up in an era that you worked. Unfortunately, I found out that was the wrong thing to do in this modern era. Basically, they think that I'm too old and that I should go set in a home somewhere. That's what they would be perfectly. Well, there's no reason for a person of your age to continue to work when you can be provided a nice retirement community living for you. Yeah, and most of the people I know in the retirement community are old. I'm the oldest member of my family still alive, folks. The oldest member, because we're talking younger ones than me have all died because they go to a retirement community and within 2 years they're dead. I mean, I work crappy hours for nothing. I get nothing. You think I do this for money? No, I do it for perks. I get to play with Monty. So I get to rub her tummy and rub her little backside.
And you get to do battles with Monty.
I fight with Monty. I know that she is really a little ruffian, so we fight all the time. But no, I just simply, I know America. One of the things I study, a minor in history throughout college, I know that you cannot say to the Americans, well, there are 10 million people, you can't ship them out on a bus. Well, the hell you can't. I'm an Indian, folks. You heard of the Indian reservations? I also had an Asian my best side was an Asian lady. Japanese, you know what they do that they did to the Japanese?
What?
They put them in internment camps in World War II. You don't think that they can't round up every person who looks like Latin in this country and stick them behind a fence? Don't believe they
Well,
can.
see, part of it is once they start, the other ones will just run on the other side anyway.
Right.
The other ones that are here legally will stay here. Right?
No, they're going to throw them all out.
They
will throw them all out.
Oh, you mean like what they did with the Chinese?
They are pissed off. This president, the Democratic Party, the people on the left, only think of one thing, a road to citizenship. They don't want to be citizens. They don't care about
They don't get that. They just want the advantage. They just want the perks without...
They send the money back to Mexico. Yeah. They send the money back to Guatemala. As soon as times come tough, they go back to their nice places that they built with the money they made. I know Canadians that won't become citizens in this country. They send the money back to Canada and go back to Canada and live in their nice places in Canada on American money that they made. A lot of people don't want to be citizens. They just want to make the money. If they become citizens, they have to pay taxes.
So why would they want to be citizens?
That's right.
Because right now they can get free medical care. They can probably, the president was doing, so they can actually go to college if they wanted to.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about auto insurance. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff.
And see, part of it, you don't need to worry because see, part of it is since we're a sanctuary city, LA, and because they're not shipping them over, they can get away literally almost with murder, right? They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but
I like to be. We did talk about ways it pays to be an illegal immigrant.
Yeah, but the President of the United States and the Democratic Party do not understand the American people. The American people are god-awful patient. They're a melting pot. They're from here, they're from there. But
because the nation was built on immigrants coming here.
When you push them too far, there's a point that when you push them too far, then they go on and on.